Hellboy is getting rebooted with a hard R rating.
Oh, a movie. I said, yeah. You said rebooted. I'm like, Mike Mignola's going to be like, I'm going to just start all of the comics over again.
That'd be cool. I'd read that.
If he just started over?
Yeah. I don't know what he's going to do.
That's probably fair. I'd probably read it too. Like, all right. It's fine.
Is he drawing it this time?
Yeah, a movie, though. So, go ahead with the actor. The actor they cat.
You want to remind me of the actor.
Look it up. Hold on.
They, of course, we all want Hellboy 3 with Ron Perlman and Guillermo del Toro.
Not gonna happen.
That's not going to happen. They said the studio wasn't going to finance it. Of course, a couple months later, this week, del Toro tweeted out. He said, "Hey, we're doing a reboot instead." I understand why they're doing a reboot. I know a lot of people, including myself, are a bit crushed that we're not getting that cap off to the trilogy.
Yeah.
But I'd rather them not bring in a new director to do the last one, or a new actor to be Hellboy for the last one,
and just do it.
And
over.
just do a new one.
Yeah. The director is Neil Marshall.
Yes.
Which I don't like. I was looking through his IMDb. I think I've seen a couple of his movies, but not enough to kind of get a vision of what his Hellboy movie would be like.
Funnily enough, Neil Marshall's actually his movie Dog Soldiers is my favorite werewolf movie. Before they released the first Hellboy trailer, I had to make you sit down and watch Dog Soldiers with me. It's fantastic because it's a dark horror movie, but it's also got a lot of humor in it. I think it's probably the closest to what his Hellboy could be. But of course, he also did The Descent 1 and 2, which are both. The first one's really good. The second one is more just okay. He did the movie Centurion with Michael Fassbender. It's really cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go through. I'm just gonna have to go through his movies just to see if I can't get a vibe for how that Hellboy movie would be.
Really, the only movie of his I didn't care for, and I want to rewatch it just to see if it was me at that time. He did a movie called Doomsday, which is like a throwback to 80s, like Mad Max, post-apocalyptic movies. I like his stuff.
The guy that's going to be playing Hellboy is, and is this confirmed or is this still rumor?
This is confirmed.
It's David Harbour, which is great. I actually really like that casting. He plays Jim Hopper on Stranger Things, which is the sheriff. And he's in Black Mass too. He's actually in a bunch of stuff. If you go through his IMDb, you're like, yeah, he's been in a lot of things you've seen. You just didn't know you just didn't know he was in.
So he's a character actor.
Yeah, but in Stranger Things, he's awesome. Like Stranger Things is just a great Netflix show in general. Have you seen it? No, you haven't. Of course you haven't. Just go watch it if you're a fan of like the '80s kind of kids on bikes solving a mystery kind of movie. Which I'm gonna say E.T., which you haven't seen.
Also, yes.
It's a nostalgia kind of show, but they do it so well. I mean, it was phenomenal, and he was awesome in it. And like when you look at him, I'm looking at a picture of him right now where he's clean shaven because in Stranger Things he has a beard, and like I keep saying Stranger Things because that's where I really noticed him.
Yeah, I mean,
as
Stranger
really
Things has
good.
been like probably the biggest thing he's been in, I'd say.
Yeah, he's been in a lot. But that's one I think a lot of people really recognized him heavily in.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some movie buff out there who's yelling at me about, what about this movie? And you're right, I'm sure. But I'm looking at a picture of him, and he's got that, like, his jawline. I'll show you. His jawline, the way he looks, like, I could see Hellboy.
So do you think they're going to go prosthetics, or do you think they're going to go full CG?
All prosthetics. Probably with some hint of CG. I don't know. Del Toro showed that you can really do just prosthetics and makeup and make him look great.
See, and now this is one of those things. I know a lot of people are worried that it'll be heavy CG, but Neil Marshall, Dog Soldiers and Descent, heavy prosthetics, heavy practical effects. So I think that's one of the reasons he was chosen, and that he's also in that same vein. He likes to do more practical things. Of course, there will be CG involved.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there was CG in the Del Toro ones. Just
sure.
Hellboy wasn't all CG.
Yeah, some of his fight scenes had some CG. I mean, there's always a little CG. Like they use that like it's a curse word now, but I mean it touches things up. There's CG. You could do it where you don't notice.
Well, I mean,
I guess what I'm saying.
According to Kurt Russell, they didn't do CG for Ego. For young Ego.
Well.
He said they touched him up a bit,
yeah,
but it was all makeup.
They're saying like minimal CG is always their term, or they said like 95% of it was makeup, and I don't know how much of that's probably true, but I mean,
so I'm gonna cut you off because this is exciting. I just saw this on Wikipedia. Don't know if it's 100% accurate or what, but apparently the title for this Hellboy movie is Hellboy: Rise of the Blood Queen.
That's cool.
That is straight Mignola because that's like the second story.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
That. See, like, what I'm excited for about doing a new Hellboy is, if you think back when we got the original Del Toro Hellboy, and granted, when you go back and watch that, especially after reading some Hellboy, you realize that, like, he stayed pretty true. There's a lot of iconic images of, like, Hellboy having the little skeleton on his back. A lot of that stuff in that first movie felt a lot like a Mignola story, but that was also in an era where comic book movies weren't what they are now. So knowing that audiences have bought like Doctor Strange and Guardians of the Galaxy, it's like we could go kind of nuts. They'll roll with this.
I don't know what they're going to throw at us. Yeah, and like you said,
Hellboy has a big cult following.
Yeah, and Del Toro was totally he pick and chose like the best aspects from different stories to put into at least the first movie. The second movie was more his own thing, and you can kind of tell.
Yeah.
But with this movie, I mean, if they do it right, it could be like perfect Hellboy.
Yeah, it could be a franchise.
Yeah.
Like a long form franchise, because I mean that's the nature of the business now is franchises. Yeah. So.
And that could spin off into a Lobster Johnson movie or a BPRD movie or Baltimore. Who knows? Yeah,
I'm excited. And with Del Toro, we got a lot of fantasy sort of elements in his. In his, the first one was kind of a lot of the gothic kind of stuff of Mignola. And then the second one, Del Toro just did his own thing, which was beautiful. The what was it? Hellboy and the Golden Army or whatever it was. It was cool. I mean, you could tell it was Del Toro's creatures, and he had a heavy hand in just doing his own thing. But I want to see more of the folklore in a Hellboy with like those kind of creatures. I want him to kind of do a lot more of that kind of like pulpy, crazy folklore monsters and that kind of thing.
Yeah, fingers crossed that's what they do. I mean, that's part of the selling point to Hellboy is that he's a 1930s pulp guy who fights demons and folklore monsters, but he's also a devil.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and everybody kind of just rolls with him because and I liked what Del Toro did where the world didn't know about Hellboy and he tried to keep it secret, but Hellboy wanted to break out. I mean, the two Del Toro movies are awesome. I love them. But I would like it where it's like the world just knows that Hellboy is out. Like they're just we just accept that he's here, whatever. So they don't have to do the whole mystery of him hiding out. They could just let Hellboy just do his thing.
That always bothers me in those types of movies anyway. And once again, love the Del Toro movies. I always like that's always a disclaimer in case you ever do say something bad about it. It's like no, I love it. I love Del Toro to death.
Yeah.
But bear with me.
It's the internet.
But. And this is one of the things, I guess, in my mind. It's like, if we really did live in a world with vampires and werewolves, that shit would be on media constantly. Like, there would be no hiding whatsoever. So I love that Mignola in his stories, like, it's just out there. It's like, of course they exist.
I want a period piece with Hellboy. Because
that'd be cool.
Del Toro brought him into modern times, but let's leave him in, like, a younger... Because the picture of Harbor, he kind of could look like a younger Hellboy.
Yeah.
So let's go and like let's leave him in.
Let's do the 60s.
Yeah, or the 50s or whatever. Like let's leave him in that era and do kind of a period piece. That would be really cool. Like it's some kind of detective crime noir with Hellboy, and that would be awesome.
Hell, they could do a trilogy where the first one's in the 50s, second one's in the 70s, and then the last one's current, and they're fighting the Al Jihad or something.
Yeah, that would actually work, unlike what X-Men's want to do.
Yeah,
because Hellboy. The way he ages, that would work. That would totally work as opposed to the
X-Men could have done it, but I don't know. They're having problems.
Yeah, because when you look at like Charles Xavier and you're like, 10 years from now you're gonna look like Patrick Stewart, but you still their
timelines
are a mess. Yeah, but Hellboy would work perfect for that kind of thing because, I mean, we don't need to know what happens in between. Yeah. I mean, shoot, the comics read that way.